Introducing Christopher Moses. Widely recognized as the tech boss, is a renowned business growth strategist, digital advertisement coach, and real estate investment consultant with over 20 years of experience in building and scaling up businesses. He is the visionary founder of multiple thriving enterprises, including Imaginative Tech Hub Limited, Realtors Academy and Property Marketing Agency, Asaba Delta Properties Limited, Tech and Enterprise Academy, and the Tech Boss Business Consult Limited, all geared towards empowering entrepreneurs, realtors, and developers across Africa and the diaspora. Christopher is a creator of the high-impact 22-hour business marketing strategy bootcamp and the convener of the game-changing platforms such as Billion Plus Business and Sales Masterclass, 10-figure sales enclave for elite realtors and developers, and the prestigious South-South and Southeast Real Estate Conference. With thousands of entrepreneurs, realtors, and developers trained under his guidance, he continues to empower the next generation of professionals with the tools, systems, and mindset needed for business dominance. His tagline is, "No business challenge is too great for the right strategy, and strategy is only as good as the team that executes it." Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Christopher Moses to the 2025 Move Convention.
Good afternoon, everybody. Please, you may have your seat, please. Okay, first thing, I want to thank the leadership of the church, the pastors, the leaders, the men's group leadership. I want to say thank you for the privilege or the opportunity to be one of your speakers in today's event. Like I've been introduced, my name is Christopher Moses, and today we'll be talking about business. We are in church today, so I'll be taking some of my teachings today from the Bible, because there is no other better way to teach business than from the Bible, because God creating and managing the earth alone is a bigger business enterprise than any other business you can ever think of. Okay? So first, I want the men to put their hands together for themselves. I'm a product of the church. Everything I know, everything I do, most of it I learned just like this. So I'm always pleased, or I'm always happy when I have the opportunity. I see it as an opportunity to give back from where I was created or where I was groomed. Because a lot of the time we don't know the importance of the opportunity we have in the church. Church have always shaped a lot of people. Most people, you talk about speakers, entrepreneurs, and all of that. If you follow the teachings in churches, you will definitely become anything you want to become. That is one thing. And there are always programs where people should pay for. We have the opportunities of learning them for free because the church has made provision for such. So I want to say a big thank you to the house. Now, please, is my slide ready, please? Okay, so let me have the slide on the screen. The topic said dominating your market, proven techniques and business excellence. Dominating your market. So I would like to read some certain Bible portion before we proceed. So we'll start from the spiritual angle, move to practical areas, then end with the spiritual again. That is the order we are going to go. We start spiritually, then before we go into practical aspects. So the first Bible portion I want us to read is the first place where the word dominate was first mentioned in the Bible, which is the book of Genesis. So let's open to the book of Genesis, chapter 1, 26 to 28. If you are there, you can read for us. Okay. He said, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fishes of the sea, and over the fowls of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. That is the first place dominion was mentioned in the Bible. Let's move to John chapter 14, verse 12. John 14, verse 12. He said, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. Great works I did, greater works shall he do. Please take note of that word, greater works. Because I see that a lot of us Christians are not fulfilling the scripture. Even within the body, the Christian body, if you hear that somebody raised the dead person of maybe 1 month, somebody has been dead for 1 month, and you hear that a pastor prayed or a Christian prayed and that person came back to life, there are still even Christians that would doubt it, that say even Jesus Christ, now only 3 days person he raised, how come they raise somebody of 1 month? That is what we always say. Whereas we forget that he said greater works. Are we together? I'm going somewhere. Then the last this thing we will be reading is Ezekiel 11 from verse 1 to 3. Ezekiel 11, 1 to 3. And the Lord said unto Moses, can I get a message version for this, please? Message version. Okay, I'll read from my system. The message version. Okay, then the Spirit picked me up and took me to the gate of the temple that faces east. There were 25 men standing at the gate. I recognized the leaders among them, Jazona, son of Azor, and Palatia, son of Benah. God said, Son of man, these are the men who draw up blueprint for sin. They keep up new programs for evil in this city. The thing I want you to note is, these are the men who draw up blueprint for sin. The men who draw up blueprint for sin. Now, the thing is that most of us think what we do, we control it. You don't control what you do currently in today's world. You think you are the one making decisions, like some men will say, don't you know, I am the man of the house, right? But the point is, what you don't know is that someone else is controlling what you do. Today, social media determines who people get married to today. Today, Social media determines who is fine and who is ugly. Today, there are a lot of things that are happening today. You are not the one deciding what you are doing. Rather, it is the environment you find yourself that is deciding what you are doing. Now, if evil people can draw up blueprint for sin, how much more you, okay, who has Christ, what are you really drawing up? What blueprints do you have? Does that your business have a blueprint? Or you just want to succeed? Well, another thing I want us to take note of is that, I know not everybody will agree with this. The book of this thing we read, John we read, which says that great works I did and greater works shall you do. Now let's analyze that. Some of the miracles Jesus Christ performed in the Bible. He raised the dead. So if you are raising the dead, that is not greater work. So, are you with me? He healed the sick. If you also heal the sick, that is not greater works. Anything Jesus Christ has done already, if you do it, that is not greater works. You are not yet fulfilling the scripture. If all you do is to repeat all that Jesus Christ did, you have not done greater works. Greater works is when you do beyond the things Jesus Christ did, but in line with the word of God. Now, another thing I want to say again is this. Do you know that you don't need to be righteous to perform miracle? You don't need righteousness to perform miracle. Let me explain to you. I'll use the word of one of my mentors who would always say, in the Bible, when the children of Israel was moving from the land of Egypt, they passed through the Red Sea, right? And that was a miracle. Am I correct? Do you believe crossing the Red Sea was a miracle? If you believe that, let me see your hand. Do you believe? I like my class. It's a class, so I will leave the pulpit. It's a class we are having. Do you believe that crossing the Red Sea was a miracle? It is, right? It is a miracle. True, it was a miracle. Or it is a miracle. Now, do you know that that miracle has been happening currently, but you don't know it? You will say, how? Who have entered an aeroplane before? You fly through the Red Sea. You fly through the sea. Is it not the same crossing of sea? Are we together? You cross the sea. The most important thing that just like the Bible said that the dragons would have. Do you know when the Bible talks about dragon, it's referring to robots in today's world. That is a topic for another day. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, so you can open up your mind. Because the truth is that most Christians are very naive. We Christians, most of us are very naive. We want to only perform the weddings that the words you see in the Bible, are they still being used in today's world? No. The words that were used for expression in the Bible was based on how English was, or the language that were being spoken as at the time it was written. So don't be stuck to the vocabulary of yesterday. Don't use the vocabulary of yesterday to limit the performance of God today in your life. That is one thing I want you to understand. Because most of us are only looking at things. Now, we are Christians. We always say, if you look at the society, is sin increasing or reducing? It's increasing. Why do you think sin is increasing? Why is sin increasing? Even with now that we have mega churches, we have technology that is able to advance the gospel, right? But sin is increasing. Why do you think it's increasing? The reason, let me tell you the simple thing. The reason why sin is increasing is because the factors that are responsible for sin, Christians don't have influence in those areas. Sin is a way of life. Am I correct? So the things that influence the way of life of people, Christians are not in charge. That is why sin is increasing, in case you don't know. Christians to do business is buy and sell. I want to buy this share and sell this share. That's the only business you think of. But the things that influence how people behave, social media is an example. Which Christian has a social media platform? So it's not until if we must have effect, Christians must have effect in our society, you must create businesses that shapes our culture. That is what you need. How is your business today shaping culture? What influence is your business over culture? And when I mean culture, the way we live, the business you are doing, does it affect the way people live? The business you are doing, does it influence how people play? The business you are doing, does it influence how people relate, communicate with people? That is what, please, my slide on the screen, please. That is what would determine whether your business, please keep going. Go for now. Still go. Sorry, go back. For your business to dominate, you must learn to build businesses that shape culture. If your business does not have effect on culture, your business cannot dominate. Think of all the dominant. Okay, let me ask it as a question. What are the businesses that are dominating the society today? Example of a business that is dominating the society, please.
Okay, salon. Yeah.
A particular business that is dominating the society.
Entertainment.
Any other? Sorry? Fintech, okay? Now, businesses that are dominating the society, we are not even... Okay, go to the next slide because of time. Now, if you must dominate, you must create a business that has one of these effects, that affect one of these areas of life. Businesses that affect how we live, how we die, how we play, how we love, and how we walk. Because these are part of the things of our daily life, our society. This is what controls our society. These things are the things that control society. And whoever controls one of them dominates. These are the things that shape our culture. What is culture? Culture is the way of life of people. How do we dress? Social media determines how people dress these days. And as a Christian, you don't have a business in that space. And you want to change the people that are in that space. How do you do that? As a Christian, you say, I don't go into politics because politics is not good for me. But I want to vote. Do you think the voters are the ones that determine who become president? No. Those who determine who become president are the people who partake in primary election, not those who vote in general election. Because if they give you 3 fools for general during the primaries, you are only choosing one among 3 fools. So, you want to shape culture, you want to dominate the society, you want to want your business to be dominant. It starts from deciding what kind of business do I really want to do. It starts from there. Business is beyond deciding whether I want to make money. If you only do business as a Christian from the angle of making only money, you cannot dominate. That is what you need to know. Dominance does not come from making money alone. How are you affecting me? So, if we want to shape culture, build businesses that are in this line. Now, if we now even talk about business, what is even business? Now, let's leave scripture a little and move to something more practical. What is business? Please take the slide back a little. What is business? Maybe I should. Is there an extra mic, please? I like my classes being engaging. Can somebody tell me what a business? Okay, I'm a business person here. Let me see your hand up. Let's start from there. I do business. Let me see your hand up. I do business. Let me see your hand up. Okay, only one person. Okay, that's fine. I work. Let me see your hand up. I work. Okay, we have more working class people here. All right. So one person, you do business, I believe. Okay, so we have two. Now, what is business? For those of you who do business, what is business? From your own definition, what is business?
Exchange of values.
Business is exchange of
Value.
Okay? Now, I can exchange value without making money. Hope you know that. Okay? So, what is business? From what? Okay, thank you. Please put your hands together for him. From what we have on the screen, so business number one is something that is creating and delivering something of value. I want to take step by step that definition. Creating. So some people create, but they don't deliver it. Okay? So until it is created and delivered. Okay? So if you are delivered, there are also people who are in business. They only deliver values that others have created. Okay, some people don't create. Some people only deliver the value that others have created. So that means business is all about creating and delivering something of value. Now, not just something of value that other people need, okay, and want. So if you create a value that nobody needs, okay, it will just for you and your family members. Okay? Now, if you create value that people cannot, like your next point say, at a price they are willing to pay. So if you deliver something of value, but the price you are willing to charge, nobody is willing to pay for it, then you are also not going to get value out of it. Okay? And not just that, in a way that satisfies, because most of us are in business. The business we do, we think we create value, but the way we deliver that value does not satisfy the end user. Okay? Like for example, let me give you an example. When you hear the word in Lagos or in Nigeria in general, when you hear the word, when somebody wants to do a transaction with you and they mention delivery people in that transaction, what comes to your mind? Sorry? Please, I need response. When you want to buy something from me, and I'm in a far distance from you, and I mention that delivery person is going to be involved in the process. Okay? Now, when you hear delivery, what emotion is raised in you? Sorry? No, we all know delivery is logistic. Extra charges, one. Okay, and any other? Okay, safety could be there. But the thing, okay, meet customer satisfaction, yeah, but the thing I'm looking for is the word delivery in Lagos or in Nigeria in particular is synonymous to delay. Whenever delivery person is mentioned in the system, the emotion that comes to your mind first is that means my goods will likely be delayed. Because delivery people, 99% of the time, does not deliver as at the time it is expected. Okay? So that is what is synonymous to them. So there are some of you are in a business that the first thing that comes to mind is negativity. So your work is not to make money first. Think your work is to say, how do I make a difference in that industry? You already know that the first thing that comes to mind when I mention that I'm a delivery person, they will always say, hope you will deliver on time. Okay? That's what will come to mind. So can I making a difference is the value you are going to create. Are we together? The value you are going to create is not because that you will not deliver it. The most important value here is delivery on time. Timely delivery is a value you need to create. Because I've seen a lot of business owners who left where they were working and say, I want to go and set up my own business because I don't like the way my boss is doing this business. I can do better than my boss. Then they start the business. 1 year interval. They're even doing worse than what their boss is doing. And you are wondering, the reason is simple. You might know that something is wrong, but you don't know what it will take to fix it. You know that your boss is not doing the right thing, but you did not learn why your boss was doing that thing that way, and how can you make it different. You only saw that your boss is making money, but yet he's not doing it the right way. Then you decide to start your own business with just word of mouth and say that I will do it differently. Few persons will trust you to say, okay, let's test him and see whether he can do it differently. After 6 months, 1 year, your story is worse than that of your boss. Why? Because you only learn how to do it, or what you knew about what was wrong, but you didn't know. That is why in Nigeria, everybody is a good leader in Nigeria until they are given position. Everybody can lead Nigeria. Even the Akarasela can tell you how to lead Nigeria. But until you give him women's leader in church, then you will know whether that person is a good leader or not. Are we together? So, business is about creating and delivering something of value at a price people are willing to pay, okay, in a way that satisfies their need and wants, at the end, so that there will be profits enough for the owner to want to continue. So if you are in a business and you are not making profits, you are an NGO. If people you are collecting money from people and you are not delivering, you are a 419. Okay? So, and if you are neither making money, not delivering value, you just have an hobby. Okay? People don't pay for your hobby. People pay for, everybody in this world is selfish. Nobody wants to dash you money. But the day you tell them you can solve a problem and they can see that you can actually solve the problem, then you know they have money. Are we together? So let's proceed. Let's look into business properly now. To dominate. Now the first thing you need to do is you need to have a business development process. A lot of people start businesses without having to develop a process. You must have a business development process. You don't just wake up to say, I want to do buy and selling because Mama Emeka in that church, that woman is the one always giving, they're always praising her because she is giving the church, buying equipment in the church. I think that our business is doing well. So me too, I want to do that. In Nigeria, there is no innovation. There is only copy. Everybody wants to copy the next person. Okay? There is nothing wrong starting a business that another person is already doing. But when you choose to only go into it because you see that the person, you feel that the person is making money, but you don't know the trouble that the person is facing behind. Are we together? Just like in the real estate space where I operate a lot, I will see people, any small person want to become a real estate developer. Everybody wants to become a real estate developer. You are a realtor, you are an agent. The next thing is, you make small money. You say, me too, I'm a developer. You don't even know the process of buying land for an estate. Your first money you gather, you go and buy land. When you sell for like 50 people, the next thing they say the land you are selling is not the right, you are not the rightful owner of the land. The money of the people you can't return. Land, you don't have to give them. You are stuck in between. So, you must have a business development process. So what should be involved in a business development process? That's the next thing we'll be looking at. Please go forward. So the first thing is fix your mindset before starting a business. The first thing you need to fix in your business development process is your mindset. Your mindset. Some people, thank God, it seems we have more people who are working here. So now, some of you might feel that you work for somebody. Sorry? What kind of job do you do? Furniture and logistics. All right. Now, a lot of people will feel that, okay, furniture and logistics. Let's say you are the furniture. Let's assume you are the furniture person, right? Now, you have the mindset of an employee. You carry that same mindset of an employee. You take it to become an employer, which is you own your own business. It will not work. Okay? That you can do your work very well. You are a good programmer does not mean that you know how to run a good software agency. That you are a good driver does not mean you'll be able to manage a logistic firm. They are not the same skills. And some people will choose to remain in that circle and start a business, and after some years they start complaining because some people leave their place of work. I don't have enough time for myself. This work is too stressful for me. Then you decide to start your own business. When you start your own business, or before you started the business, even your family was seeing you like 2 hours in a day. Now after starting your own business, they can't even see you in 24 hours again. Why so? Because you carried the mindset of an employee and started a business. They are not the same thing. We call them technicians in the business environment. People who own business but have the mindset of an employee, we call them technicians. So the first thing is fixing your mindset. And in fixing your mindset, the first thing you need to think of when you want to start a business is yourself. I know some people would have taught you that think about the customer. I said no, think about yourself. Now thinking about yourself, you are not here to hustle. Some people, they call themselves CEO, entrepreneur. They are not CEO, they are not entrepreneur, they are hustlers. In their own game, in their own office, they are nothing but hustler. Please move to the next slide. Now, what do you now need to do? Please go on, still go on. What do you now need to do? The first thing you need to do is to set a primary aim. And now what do I mean by a primary aim? What is my life goal? A business is not the goal. The goal is what you want that business to turn you into, or what you want that business to help you to achieve. That is what a business is. A business is not an achievement, in case you don't know. Or starting up a business is not an achievement. Until that business can make you live the kind of life you want to live, that is when you say you have achieved something. Are we together? So, now, say your primary aim is go back. Your primary aim is the vision of your life. Okay, so, now, who wants to start a business before the end of this year? Let's use it as a case study. Please come, if you don't mind. Sorry, what's your name? Okay, Omala. What kind of business do you want to start, please?
A creative industry. It's a creative industry.
You are going into the creative industry. Now, she knows what she wants to go into. Now, but the first thing is not to think about the creative industry. The first thing is to think about your life for the next 10 years. How would you... Okay, let me give you an example. I know in this world, nobody wants to think about death. But the best way to live is always to think about death. That is my own opinion. So now, at the end, you want to live 200 years, want to live any amount of years you want to live, I don't want to know. At the end of your life, if you have the opportunity of deciding what people should write on your tomb, on your memo, what would you say they should write? Think about it carefully. Okay, what will be your achievements? What kind of life did you live? What are the people you impacted? What did you achieve? Think about it critically. And ask yourself, this business I want to start, will it be able to give me that kind of life? That is where you should start from. Are we together? You can go to the next slide. So, before you write, we are taught in school that when you want to start a business, write a business plan. No, don't write a business plan. No, that's not where you start from. The first thing you need to do is to write your life plan. Your life comes first before the business. Can that business give you that type of life you want to live? I saw you when you came in with your daughter. Now the thing is, will you be able to, this business give you the kind of time you want to spend with your daughter? Will it give you the kind of resources to give you the resources to be able to take care of that your daughter the way you want to? These are the things you need to think of. It's not just about saying, I want to start a business. This is the reason why a lot of business people are frustrated. Because they feel like, I needed freedom. That is why I started my business. But after they start, they are not even in more slavery than the business, than when they were working for somebody. At least when they were working for somebody, they have off day. But in their own business, they don't have off. When they were working for somebody, they have weekends. They go home and they rest. Now that they are working for themselves, there is no weekend. Why? Because all their time has been consumed by their own business. So before you start a business, think about yourself, not about any other person. So that is why I say that imagine your 10 years from today. Where will you be? Are you the type that love to travel the world? You want to see places in the world. So this business you are starting, how will it give you that freedom in the next 10 years? How much do you need to make monthly? How much do you need to make yearly for you to be able to pay your staff members? How many, at the end of your business, how many employees do you think you'll be able to employ? These are the things you need to think about. Not just to think about, I want to start a business. So, and if after thinking about all of this, you can't seem to give, and now this is another thing you need to take note of. When answering these questions, please, don't answer it based on reality. Answer it based on what you need. They are not the same thing. Some people are too realistic. My condition like this, if I say I go get 2 private jets now, I feel not achieve them. You use your current condition to measure your future. So you start reducing your dreams. Just like when we were in school, some of you planned your life that when your first car is going to be maybe a Ferrari. But after you left school, 5 years, no job. Then all of a sudden you say, after a car, you decide to start going for Camry. So, I'm not saying that's what you should do. I say think about what you need. If all you wish for can come to pass, and it can actually come to pass because you have God, right? If all you can think of, all your wishes can be made reality, what would you dream of in the next 10 years for your business? After you must have thought about all of this, like you see there, say, where will you be living? Will you still be living in Ajah? Or will you have a house in Dubai? Will you still be living? Because some of you will always be blaming people that are traveling abroad because you don't get money. That's the thing. You don't like rich people. That's because you don't have money. It's not because you are righteous. Some of you see people who are living large as waywardness. Get money first. More know whether you're not going to follow that same waywardness. At least, try get money. Are we together? So, what does your business look like? What does your income look like? How much will you be earning? Those are the things you need to think about when you are starting a business. So you need to plan all of this. After you have finished thinking about this, then we can now move to the next stage of thinking about the business. Now, so the first thing you need to plan is your life. If you enter a business with a disorganized life, your business would also be disorganized. So plan your life first. I consult for some companies. When I get to the company, after much complaint, I see that your guy is the problem of the business. And I'm wondering, how do I tell this one now that he's the problem of his own business in presence of his own staff members? Sometime last year, I had 2 partners. One of them, 2 partners who were running a business. One of them came to me that our business is this, our business is that. I need you to come and consult for us and straighten some things for us. Then I went there. I heard from both parties, heard from staff. Now the person who brought me into the business to come and consult is the problem of the business. And I'm wondering, how do I pass the message to this guy now? That is the owner of, is the problem of the business. And in fact, even the way he brought me into the business, that they brought in know that that's not the right way. If you have a partner, you are bringing a consultant. The day I arrive in the office is the day the consultant is aware that somebody is coming to, the partner is aware that somebody is coming to consult for them. So how do I say? So there are people whose business cannot dominate because even their own life, they are not dominating. So before you begin to talk about dominating in business, please, in your own life, are you dominating? That's the first thing you need to think of. If you cannot dominate in your own life, please don't go and start a business and drag people's children into business. The same man told me, because after I consulted for them, I told them very clear, care is not taken. I'm giving you 1 year. This is your business. You guys will go your separate way. And truly, that is what happened. Then he started a new business again. He brought me in again. This time, he is the Alpha and the Omega in that place. Now, after looking at them, I said, your staff need training. He said, no, Chris, we don't train people here. Anybody that cannot do the work, fire them. I said, okay. So, this is how you keep employing and firing. It's not going to work, Oga. So we have been on the same matter for almost 3 months now. We are dragging how the business should be run. If you want to go this your way, I'm not consulting. If you will go my way, I would consult. This is where we are hanged. Even the GM of the company is telling me, I've told my boss to give me room to manage this business. He is refusing. And in a Zoom meeting, I can't seem to openly tell him that, oh God, truly you are the problem of your business. So, there are people like that. The reason why their business is, or why they cannot dominate, is because the business is, they can't dominate even in their own life or in their family. Please, to the next slide, please. So these are things we need to think of. He said you need to translate that your life vision into something practical. A business plan that works not just on paper but in real life. That is what you need. So, after you have planned your life, the next thing you now need to start planning the business. So you need to write it out. That is why you now talk about business plan. Life plan. Next stage is business plan. Now, this says your strategy. So in your business plan, what do you need? The first thing you need in your business plan is strategic objective. What is the strategic objective of that your business you want to start? When I say strategic objective, what is the direction of your business? It's not like today you are starting in the creative industry and you are maybe going into media, okay, which is also part of creative. And tomorrow a little opportunity just because there is trend, there is spike, and there is boom. Okay, so some people will see a little opportunity they don't know that opportunity will only last for maybe few months. They will leave their direction and move to that direction and distract a bit. So, do you have a direction for your business? This is where we are going to. This is what we want to achieve. Like people, I have been in the tech industry for long, both working as a tech person and starting my own business. All the businesses I have created are still directed in the tech line. I use technology and strategy to solve business problem. That is all I do. So even if my business in the real estate space, it is technology that I'm using to solve real estate problem in the real estate industry. If you see me in the media space, it is technology I am using to solve media problem in the media industry. So I have a direction. Even if you say I should go into agriculture today, the first thing I'm going to think of is how can tech solve agricultural problem? That is what I'm going to think of. So the question is, what is the direction for your business? That is what you need to think about. That what called strategic objective. To the next slide. Okay, yeah. So what will your business look like at full scale? Once your business is 50 years old, how would it look like? Once your business is 20 years old, how would it look like? How big will it be? What will be your revenue? How many staff will you have? How many locations? Number of projects would you have? These are things you need to think of. Because in the real estate space, for example, sometime last year, due to constant demolition and election issue, a lot of those from the south and the southeast were protesting that they don't want to buy property in Lagos again. Now, that was a spike, not a boom. That led to increase in property demand in the south and the southeast. Now, some real estate company woke up and decided to go set up gigantic offices in those places instead of just having a project they can manage from wherever they are. Now, the boom is gradually, the spike is going down. Now they are not complaining. This is my staff, they are not even doing anything in the office. They are, now you employ them. Why didn't you ask first? This opportunity, how large? Because before you go into every industry, because there are different stages of markets, ask yourself, is this a growing industry or is this a matured industry? A growing industry means that opportunity will keep rising. Currently, the industry is worth maybe 10 billion. And the projection is that in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, this industry will worth $100 billion. That is what you should be looking at. Not going to join industry that are already dying. Imagine somebody want to start a business. He said, I was a good typewriter. I'd be a typist when I was working for somebody. So I want to go and set up business center business. How many business centers do you used to see in Lagos? You go and start business center. And the next thing, you turn your pastor to prayer warrior. Daddy, you need to pray. My business is struggling. Daddy, you need to pray. My business is struggling. What you need is not prayer. What you need is sense. Prayers are not meant to be wasted. What you need is sense, not prayer. Because even revelation, there are different types of revelation. Knowledge is revelation. Okay? Education is revelation as well. So, most of us are only waiting for spiritual revelation. Some of you don't need spiritual revelation. What you need is knowledge-based revelation. That's what you need. That is what you need. Like when the first speaker was speaking, he talked about just one word can change how you do business, how you want decision you make, and you could hear it from anywhere. Some of us, when we're only seeing problems. If you know the kind of opportunity that in Lagos, okay, let me even ask you a question. I need response now. You guys are actually too cold for my liking. I need response. Now, the Agbero problem of always when you are in public transport, for those of you who use public transport also, if you move from here to Aja, let me say, Ilaje, you will see a lot of Agbero. You see it as a problem. Do you know that problem can be solved by a business? That thing you see as a problem is a business opportunity. Why not see how you can have access to somebody in government where you have a business whereby this thing is packaged. Everybody go to the bank to buy tickets. Okay? The government make money. Agbero makes money. You who own the business makes money. Ticketing. A coordinated system of ticketing. That is what will solve that problem. But all you need is just to look for one person who can influence decision. That is where you need prayer. The thinking aspect, you don't need prayer. What you need prayer is, God, give me favor. So when I take my proposal to the government office, they can see somebody who will favor me and grant my request. That is what you need. That is what you should be looking for. Not casting and binding. The devil self, he has been bound on I see they lose and they bind them again. So these are the things you need to think of. When I started, I've been in the tech industry, I would say what gave me my breakthrough in life was ordinary ID card. ID card. Student ID card. Where I was working, then I was working and I was at the same time hustling. Now somebody came to me and say, I noticed, when I already left, I noticed you were printing ID card in your former place of work. I said yes. Say, can you print ID card in bulk? I said yes. I mean in bulk? I said yes. Then it's okay, let's travel to Ondo State. I'm traveling to, so first it gave me ID card to produce for people that were contesting for election. Then the main contract was now for me to produce ID card for students of University of Akungba. That is Ondo State. I had to produce 26,000 ID cards for them. But that is not even the miracle. Now, while we were in that school, two things happened. Number one, when we were to be producing the ID card, the school told us, you know what? See hostel, they have given us an accommodation. Bring your your photographers and your team. Let them, will be snapping pictures department by department. So we'll capture students and you produce this ID card. And I asked myself, how many students are we producing the ID card for again? He said 26,000 ID card. So you mean my people are going to be snapping 26,000 students, one after the other. Now, that is enough obstacle to make somebody to want to back out. Then I talked to my team. We thought about, okay, you know what? Why not in a digital era? Why not we see for a way where we can build a portal? Every student sits in your own house, snap your passport, upload it into the portal. That solves the problem. That was phase one of getting the first level of contract. Then while we were still in that school, something happened again. For those of you who are current with news, you will find out that I think some years back, let me say about going to 4 years now, the former deputy governor's daughter of Ondo State, the boyfriend used that for money rituals. How many of you are aware of that story? You know, some of you only listen to stories, news, and only carry the wrong message out. You don't see the opportunity in that wrong message. Now when they were announcing about that issue, we're in the school premises. Now something struck me. One of the interviewers said, when the lady was found dead, after autopsy, the lady has been missing for approximately, if I'm not mistaken, like a week or more. Now, when they finally found her, it shows that, autopsy showed that she died 3 days to the day she was found. Which means all this while they've been looking for her, she was still alive. And what are the things that were found on her? One of them is her ID card. Then I asked myself, what if this ID card had the tracking chips on it? All this while they were looking for this student, all they need to do is to put the student's ID card code on the system. It will tell you where that ID card is. When you track, if they had tracked it to where that ID card was, then she wouldn't have died. That was my breakthrough in life. Okay? I shared the idea with the pro-chancellor of the school, who was my mentor. He took it to the VC. From VC, I was able to stand in front of a late, what is his name now? Former governor for Ondo State, Akeredolu. I was able to stand in front of him to pitch this idea, and the idea was approved. I was producing ID card at 2,000 naira for the normal ID card. But the next ID card project that was approved at 10,000 naira per ID card for 26,000 students. So while you are busy thinking how you move for Agile, all you can complain about is there is Agbero on the road. Agbero is harassing people. There is hold up in Lagos Road. What kind of business can you build out of it? That's what you should be thinking. As a child of God, you are meant to provide solution, not to complain. After all, the Bible says, when others shall be shouting, there is a casting down, I shall be saying there is a lifting up. Do you think spiritual hands will come and lift you up? Do you think that's what the Bible is saying? No. Your confession shall be different. So where others are seeing obstacle, because you have Christ, you will be seeing opportunity. That is what the Bible is saying. It's not saying that you should pray and angels will come and lift you up. Lift you to where? Where you don't want to die, they lift you, go heaven. These are the things you need to think of. So to the next, please. To the next slide. Are we following at all? Am I communicating? All right. What the business will look like? Okay, this is like an explanation of those points. Okay, so I will definitely keep the slide so they will maybe share it among you. Okay, how big will the business be? These are those points that we've already stated. So in numbers, my business in the next 10 years, I want it to worth 5 billion naira. In the next this, I want it to worth to some amount. My turnover, I want it, so list it out. To the next slide. So you need to structure the business this way. Okay? So, this is like an example. What will your business do? Please, even my brothers in the East, They no longer do general merchandise. They have changed. A maker and son no longer do merchandise anymore. They now have specific businesses. When they ask you, what do you do? I can do all things. Yes, I know you can do all things. But that is not what people are looking for. Be specific of what you do. Say anything. Anything is equal to nothing. What can you do? I can do anything. Then you are not serious. Are we together? To the next slide, please. What value will you deliver? Now, leave it on that point of value. Value means different things to different persons. Value. After all, they have been ID card all this while, right? Why would somebody, ID card, plastic ID card by then was around 200, 250, highest 500. Why would somebody be paying me 10,000 naira for one ID card? The value that I added inside it. That is why they were willing to pay me that amount. Even then, I used to say that I was very naive then. If not, maybe I would have even collected 50,000 naira per ID card. Because, you know what? If not because of the death of former chief of staff to what is his name? To Buhari, Kari, Abi was that is his name. This ID card have already looked for a way to take it to the Nigerian military. Because everything you do, look for everything you hear. Think of opportunity in it. And I asked myself, when I was having a conversation, that period we're doing that contract for the school, I was having a conversation with an army man who said that most of the Nigerian army we think are in Boko Haram, or what you call Sambisa forest. Majority of them are in their houses, while others, some majority are dead. That the percentage of the army that are in that evil forest or that forest are not up to 30%. That's what the army man told me. And I said, okay, but they are being paid for being in Sambisa forest. What if everybody has an ID card with a tracking chips? So you can see how I was pushing my ID card project. I was able to have a direct meeting with the chief of staff to Buhari before COVID came, and the next thing we hear that he's late. And the truth is, I know for certain that ID card, because each office I passed through, the ID card was being padded. So definitely before it would have been approved, I would have maybe gotten one ID card at 50,000 naira. Now ID card though. You might be wondering, what thing they produce? Say an ID card. You don't know that. That thing you are seeing, how can you make the process better? That is a business. Sometimes you don't need new ideas. You don't need something that has never been made before. That's not what you are looking. In fact, Elon Musk did not make anything new. Okay? Before Elon Musk, people have been making cars that doesn't use fuel. It's not the first. It's someone's idea that he refined. Okay? So the same thing. What are the people you are currently patronizing and you are seeing a fault in the system? And you can say, okay, because of this fault in the system, I can improve on it. And once I improve on it, I will be able to, and I think of how many persons will be able to give me more money because of this improved system. Some people will pay more for time. If others are doing it for 2 days, and you say you can do it for a few hours, they will pay you more. The value you are creating is that you are saving them time. So value is not until you create something new. Maybe the process is that some people are doing it for maybe 3 or let's say 5 steps is what others are using to do one thing. Think, how can I eliminate one of the steps to make it faster or to reduce the number of labor that will be involved? That's what you should be thinking about. Instead of praying and going to the mountain and be shouting, Lord, give me idea, Lord, give me idea. Where idea they're looking for first there? And I'm wondering, idea is looking at you, they go mountain. There's no idea in the mountain. The idea is in your day-to-day life. That is where you find idea. Your day-to-day life. Idea is not in the mountain. Now, tree is there. Unless you want to go and build houses for mountain climbers. There is no idea there. Idea is in your everyday, today activities. Value. So, when you think of value, Don't see value as something that has never been done before. The place where you are working now, how are they doing things? And how can you make it better? Some of the ideas I used in my business today, I shared them with my boss. There was a day I walked up to my boss and said, okay, I've given you enough ideas. At this point, this is my proposition. I want a share of profit of this company. That's what I told my boss. I no longer want to earn salary alone. I want to be your partner. Have I given you ideas over the years? You say yes. Are they working? Say yes. I said I have more. So let's negotiate. I have more ideas that can change this organization beyond the way we are currently. Okay, how do you go about it? I shared some of them with him, but he wanted to play a smart one on me. He said, write them out, show me how they are going to work. I said, no, you're not going to work like that. And I left. Are we together? So most of the things I proposed were just ways to improve existing processes. Nothing is new. Now let me share another unpopular story for you guys. How many of you know the Wright brothers? The Wright brothers, the people that manufacture aeroplane, right? There is an unpopular story about the Wright brothers. The story is that while they were around 5 years old, their father was a Roman Catholic clergyman. They went to Rome for a meeting. And in that meeting, somebody stood up in the meeting and said, the Roman Empire should improve technology-wise, that soon people will begin to fly. And the Wright brothers' father stood up in that meeting and got upset that if God wanted men to fly, he would have given them wings. That is a blasphemy to God for him to say that he's trying to tell people that God did not create man to the finite, that people will start to fly. Are people flying today? After making the argument, he left that meeting. 20 years later, his two sons were the one that they used to fulfill that prophecy. Mind how you hold on to some of that is why when I was telling you that the miracles you are thinking, the kind of miracle you are expecting today are no longer the kind of miracle that you are expected to do. When I was telling you that I thought it was a lie, when the man made that statement, he didn't say it was the Wright brother that was going to make it. He didn't even know how it was going to happen. He didn't know whether men were going to manufacture wings or stuff. But he just said that soon, if the Roman Empire does not sit up and start embracing technology, and that is why the Roman Empire collapsed, that if they don't start embracing technology, that other empires, other people will spring up, use technology, people will start flying, and all of that. But the man said, no, it cannot happen. Because if it happens, it means that God did not complete creation. That he's trying to blaspheme God. He left the meeting angrily. 20 years later, his two sons. I call that prophecy. See why I say that? You don't need to be righteous to prophesy you. When they say prophesy doesn't only mean that you are speaking from the Bible. There are even demonic prophecy after all. Okay? So they are demonic prophecy. So you don't need to be righteous to prophesy. You don't need to be righteous to create miracle. After all, in the Bible, there were false prophets that were carrying out miracles. So when we say people are carrying out miracle, don't only think of it from the angle of spiritual powers. The things that were not before, that you create to be in existence, are miracles. So always think of yourself as someone who can do miracles. Your business is a miracle. If you create a business that solves people's problem, that solution is a miracle to those people who you are serving. That is a miracle. So when you think of miracle, don't think pastor will come and lay hand on you. You will twist 7 times and fall 7 times. That is when you become, after all the twisting where you don't do since. How far? So think from a different perspective. Let's move on. What we have developed your organizational strategy. Okay, go on, please. Design your business like a franchise. This part is very key, please. Design your business like a franchise. Design your business like you want to sell it. For those of you who are doing business now, if you offer that your business to me or to somebody, will that person be willing to buy it? And if that person buys that business, will the business be able to do, the person be able to do the business the same way you are doing the business? That's what you need to ask yourself. Can your business be sold and the business will still stand? Or the day you travel, some business owners no longer travel to their villages because they know the day they travel, business don't close down. Because without them, there is no business. Without them, there is no business. You don't have a business. You are self-employed. You are just a glorified self-employed person. You don't have a business. Anytime you travel, your business will close down. You don't have a business. You are a glorified self-employed person. So the question is, how can you build your business or design your business like a franchise? Now, everything you do should be documented. Okay? Document your process. Now, here says, every department should be clearly defined. Not cleaner, now they welcome customer. Cleaner, now they go carry water from express road. Everything on a cleaner. No. Everybody's job should be well defined. Every role should have a title and responsibility. Don't go to your village and bring that your brother, your auntie's son that just graduated and say his father or his mother and his great-great-great-grandfather is one that sent me to school. Now that he has graduated and me too, I have a business, so I have to compensate him. When he scattered the business, now he go laugh you. You don't use position to compensate people. You don't use positions in your business to compensate people. So, every system should be documented. How do we do things here? How do we do things here? This is one vital area. Like in the real estate space, I teach people how they buy land and let it be documented. Like for example, some of the Lagos companies that moved to places like Asaba and the south part, they went there. They did not study the environment where they were going to. They were trying to practice the same thing they have been practicing in Lagos, in those places. And most of them lost their money. So, the point is document every process so that if you are not there, somebody can step into that space. Don't create position around somebody. Rather, employ somebody to fill into a position. Are you hearing? Don't create a position to suit somebody. Okay, you are my father's uncle's daughter. So, you know what? What can you do again, Seth? Say, I can wash plates, okay? We have a kitchen, okay, we have to create a kitchen for you in this office so that I can be washing plates. You know what? What else can you do? I can smile, okay? After you finish washing plates, you'll be coming to the reception to smile at people. So you create all the position to suit that person. Once that person go out of the equation, when you bring in another person, the system scatters. Why? Because the person can't seem to do what that person is doing. But if you create a process and a system of how things should be done, when you are employing, after you must have created, don't think about your structure first before you start thinking about people. When you think about your structure, you bring in somebody and you have already defined the responsibilities before you employ the person. So even your interview is based on what you have listed out that position will do. So if the person cannot do it, that means that person is not qualified. It doesn't mean whether it's your father's uncle, grandmother's sister. The most important thing is the person is not qualified. Are we together? So, every system should be documented. And please stop giving people big title with small money. Okay? They say this person is GM. And that one head said, go they swear. Do you know I'm a GM? GM, you they track. Eh? Don't be giving people big title, GM. Only you. In your organization, you are the CEO, and only you did the organization, no, you be CEO. Are we together? Please put your hands together for yourselves, please. All right, to the next slide, please. Define the roles. I've talked about that. Okay, hold on first. This is an example of roles. Sales and client relations. What are they to do? Handle clients onboarding, consulting, deal closure, investors follow-up, marketing and communication. What are they into? Manage content creation, social media, campaign, and so on. So everything should be well defined. So everybody know what they come do. There are some people who resume work, they don't even know what they are supposed to do in the organization. It shouldn't be like that. Okay? Define the responsibility. So that is why you cannot also sack them, because you didn't give them anything specific. So you don't know how to measure their performance. If you don't give me responsibility, you sack me, I go sue you. Because after all, you didn't give me specific responsibility. So on what basis are you measuring my performance? Are we together? Please to the next slide. Okay, come back again. Let me say something. Now, to her who says she wants to start a business. Now, for example, she is the first person in the business. Okay? She will be handling a lot of things. But that does not mean that you should not create the positions now. Okay? As you might call yourself, you are the creative director. Somebody is going to creative industry. You might want to take the creative director's position. Now you be creative director. But still, other position has been defined. Their responsibility have been defined. Though you are the one doing everything at the moment. So as jobs begin to come, you begin to employ people and start replacing yourself gradually. Some of you start owing debt before you even start the business. Business should not start with expenses, but 90% of businesses start with expenses. Now, what do I mean by that? You have not started making money. You have staff members already. Okay? That you'll be paying salary. Is that not expenses? Expenses. You don't have hope of when the next job will come from, or the next contract or sales will come from. But you already have an office. You have big office with a big share. You are calling yourself GM or CEO. That is expenses. Your 3 months rent don't go, or 6 months rent don't go. You have not started thinking of how to make money. Okay? So most businesses start with expenses. The major thing is, how do I make money from the business? That's what you should be thinking of. After you have talked about all your structures and everything, how do I make money from this business? That's what your marketing and sales department are one of the most important parts of your business. That's what you should be thinking. How do I make money from the business? How do I get people to know that I do this thing? How do people get to find me? That is what you should be thinking about. So the next slide, please. Build organizational chart first, even if you are the only person in the business. Draw the organizational chart. Put your name on all the boxes. Then as you employ, remove one of your name and put that person's name there. That's how you should take it. Are we together? So the next slide, please. Okay, sorry. The 3-layer management system. Now, one thing is to start a business. Another thing is to manage the business and manage the people. But the truth is, you are not supposed to manage people. You manage system, and people manage the business. I will get to that. Now, 3-layer, clear job description, weekly sync and monthly review, document your standard operating processes. Okay? For you who is, okay, let me ask you one example of one of the jobs you'll be doing in your creative industry. One of the jobs you'll be doing in your creative industry, an example of one function. Sorry? Writing. Okay, now, when you get a job, okay, what is the step-by-step process you take the writing through before you deliver to the customer? Okay, so it has to be documented. That's the point. Okay, when we get the job, we try to, let's say, example, brainstorm if there's anything like that in the process. So you start brainstorming, who do I want to communicate to and all of that. Or you do a research and all of that. So you talk, okay, step 1, we do research. Step 2, we brainstorm to think about the idea properly. Then maybe step 3, we sketch the idea out. Then maybe step 4, we start adding flesh. So everything should be properly documented. So when you bring in somebody into the system, the person has access to your process. So he knows that in this organization, this is how we do it. We must brainstorm, we must make research, we must sketch, and so on. So you have a proven process. It is only people who have proven process that can give guarantee. For our mommies that are among us here, you cook, right? Once you cook, every food you want to cook, you have a process. Okay? Because the process you take would determine the taste of the food. Because one thing I love to eat good food. I like good food. So every place, every city I go, I like to rate the restaurant that I found there. Now, let me use Lagos for example. I go to Mega Chicken to eat because I'm from the Niger Delta. I'm from Delta to be precise. They cook a banga soup there, so I like to go there to eat once in a while. Now, every time you go to, every time you go to Mega Chicken, the one here, the one in the Lekki, the one in the mainland, everywhere you eat their food, the taste of their food remain the same. If you have been taking note, if you have been eating there, you would have taken note of this. Everywhere I have tasted Mega Chicken food, whether in the morning, whether in the evening, the taste of the food remain the same. Now their counterpart, Black Bell, especially the one in ShopRite. When you go there, the chef on duty determines the taste of the food. When there's the fair one has, because I'm very observant of what they do there, the fair lady, her food is better taste, has a better taste. There's a guy that also cooked there. That day when he cooked there, you can part the Red Sea. The okra is separated from the water. The water is separated from the red oil. That is what you see there. But it's the same restaurant. Now the question is, am I patronizing the chef or am I patronizing the company? Because the chef determines the taste of the food. I cannot come I can't tell you to say, I want to go and eat Black Bell food. Because there is no Black Bell food. There is chef's food there. Okay? That is what you have there. So the same thing also applies to some of our businesses. If you are not there, what is the delivery process? If you are not in your office. In fact, in Asaba, where I just came back from a few days ago, there's a restaurant I like to eat. And one of the days, I noticed that the food wasn't tasting how it used to taste. And I asked the manager, what's happening? Why is the food tasting like this? He said, sorry, our former chef is no more around. But it concerned me whether your former chef come out. I didn't come to patronize former chef. I came to patronize Nova Restaurant. Why are you giving me taste level? Will you give me discount because you have a chef that can't cook? No, you still charge me the same way you are charging me. So the standard should remain the same. Well, the only thing that can guarantee that is if you have a standard operating process. That's the only thing that can guarantee that. Because the way Chef 1 was taught is different from the way Chef 2 was taught. So until you have a standard operating system, then you can give people guarantee. Then you can even charge premium. Okay? There are places you go to, they say they have special fried rice. Okay? And they charge you at a premium rate because the taste of that particular fried rice, you can't find it anywhere. So it should be consistent. But if I come today, the taste is A. I come tomorrow, the taste is B. The standard and the special is not working together at this point. Are we together? So these are things you need to think of. So hiring people does not mean that your business will automatically run itself. Okay? Don't just hire people because you feel like I don't start business, so I must hire. Hire because there is a need to hire. I can't handle the job alone. So, there is really a need for it. I'll still give room for another question, but room for just two questions from two persons. I mean, questions? No question. Okay. Oh. It's either you don't understand or I'm too good with my teaching, so you don't have question. That is the only reason why you will not have question. Okay. So, okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. You talked about the trend, the spike, and the boom. You did not really touch on it that much.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, when I talk about trend and spike, for example, now, let me use real estate as an example now. Okay, so there are factors that brings about real estate boom or that makes real estate to add value. Okay? Maybe proposed government infrastructure is coming to a place. For example, using Ibejileki for example, the Dangote refinery is the major infrastructure that led to the boom of Ibejileki, properties in Ibejileki. Okay? Now, so people are buying. So, and that is more of a permanent kind of or a long-term distance. So property will continue to appreciate. So you can say that is a boom because it has a staying power. Okay? Something that will make it to continue to appreciate. Now, the reason why some of the eastern parts, why there were increase in property value or property demand in the eastern part last year was due to emotional decisions. Okay? It was based on emotional decision. People, they are demolishing houses in Lagos. They are demolishing houses in Lagos. They are targeting the Igbo people. I don't want to buy property in Lagos again. Now they decided to start going home to buy property. Now there was high in demand. Now, but what they forget to understand is the emotion is temporal. Okay? That emotion is temporal. Immediately the whole election thing phased out. The demolition, there were some explanation to why those demolitions were done. So the demand started dropping. Now, but some people have gone, real estate company or developer have made permanent decisions based on those activities, those trends. They made permanent decisions. So you are making a permanent decision based on a temporary reason. Okay? So those things can be called a spike. Something just happened that made the market to peak. But it's not going to be for long. After a while, it will start dying off again. So those are examples of spikes. But for something, there is an economic activity that is making that industry to thrive. You can call it a boom. Okay? So that is it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sorry. There was a part you tried to say something about letting people know what you do, but you didn't go further, so I was interested in that part.
Okay, letting people know what you do. When I get to marketing, I will throw, but that is actually marketing. Are the projectors still coming up? Okay. Okay, so now once you go through that route, these are some of the things. So the first thing we've talked about, organize your organizational charts. So put your name on a lot of those places and make sure you keep replacing yourself one after the other. Then you build a system, like I said. The systems you are going to create, this is because there are different stages of organization. There is the startup stage. Now there is the growth stage. Okay? Then there is also the scaling stage. Then there is also the dying stage. No business is created to live forever. That is another secret you must know about business. Businesses are like human beings. They get created and they die after a while. How long that business will live is dependent on how innovative the owner would be. Okay? So that is what you need to take note of. So that's what you need to take note of, how long the business will live and all of that. Okay, so now the next thing is the growth stage. What is growth? What's the growth stage really about? That's the next thing you need to know. Now, at the growth, when you say my business, some of you who have businesses, your focus is that you want your business to grow. Some of those people who are talking about business growing, they are not really actually, their businesses are not yet at the stage of growth. They are still at the stage of starting. You can't be talking about growth when you have not even stand. Okay? So there are stages. You can't tell a child to start running when he has not even started crawling. Okay? So there are stages. So once the business start up, you have set up all these systems we have been talking about. You have positioned all of these things and they are working fine. You are getting certain results. The growth stage is inputs and outputs. What do I mean by input and output? Let's say I spend 100,000 naira, 1 million naira in advertisement, right? And I get 10 million naira in return. Okay? If I keep repeating that process, that is not growth. Now, if I now want to grow, right? What I need to do is, I will add, so if 1 million is giving me 10 million, what that means is that if I add 2 million, there's the probability I will get 20 million. That is growth. Okay? So at every time you want to grow, you need to impute something into the system. Okay? So, and growth can be experienced in diverse aspects of the business. Most of us carry our business like it is a one entity. Separate the business, there are different aspects of the business. So based on that definition I used earlier, you can cut out 5 departments or 5 parts of a business. We have what we call the value creation. We have the value delivery. We have the marketing. We have the sales. We have the finance. These are the 5 aspects of business. And if one of these is faulty, it will affect the entire business. So when I come to a business to diagnose a business or to consult for a business, I'm not making sales. Most of the time, the problem is not the sales department. Okay? When people say, I am not making sales, all my sales people, they are not active, they are not effective. That's always what I hear in most companies when I go for consultation. Then we'll start diagnosing the business. At the course of diagnosing the business, sometimes we'll notice 2 things. 2 things mostly that are always responsible for that is that number 1, sometimes the value creation team are not producing the right value. What I mean by value now, the product or the services. So once you have a faulty product and a faulty services, your sales cannot deliver. Okay? Your sales team cannot deliver. Another thing, even if you have a good product and you have a good product and you have a good service, now if your marketing is not effective, sales team will not also deliver. So while you are busy sacking sales team that they are not delivering, whereas maybe sometimes it is your product team that is having the issue, or sometimes it is your marketing team that is bringing the issues. So you need to really diagnose what is really causing. Sometimes this is what I ask people. Are people coming, but they are not buying? If people are coming and they are not buying, then something is wrong with that product. Okay? People are coming, but they are not buying. The first thing I will question is something must be wrong in that product arm. Why there are some cases, people are not coming at all. That is a marketing problem. Nobody is asking you how market. Okay? It means you are not doing enough marketing or you are doing your marketing wrongly. So these are the things we need to diagnose. Then if people are coming, product is good, and they can't sell. That is why I begin to talk about the sales team. Before you can talk that the product is good, you must first of all diagnose what is the product standard in the industry. Still using real estate as a case study. In 2012-14, right? In that Ibejuleki Axis you see, all you need to do as a real estate company, go and fix one signboard inside one evil forest in Ibejuleki and print flyers. Tell people that we have an estate in this place. You can come and buy. It will appreciate. Dangote Refinery is coming. People would buy. But that era has passed too. The challenge is that currently, if you must sell in the real estate industry, Your estate must be cleared, must be fenced, must have gators, must have good title. These are the minimum requirements to sell in Lagos right now. Now, some people will not start business. Now, they will not say, the time I was working for A and B company, we don't fence, we don't clear. We still used to make sales. So they will start with a method of 20 years ago and want to use it to become effective today. And when they don't sell, they come to pastor for deliverance. The knowledge update is what they need, not deliverance. Are we together? So you need to know that there are different aspects of don't mash up your business together. Separate it. Break it down. Okay, there's this, there is this, there is this, there is this. If you can break it out that way, then you can determine. And product delivery part, those are people, your customer service and all of that. So all these are factors you need to put into consideration. Okay, let me see the next aspect of the slide so we can start wrapping up. By the way, so you guys don't really ask questions. I don't know whether it's because of we have more of people who work than people who do businesses. Okay, develop a marketing strategy. Now, there are two types of marketing. Sorry, go back first. There are two types of marketing. There is the outbound marketing. There is the inbound marketing. The most popular form of marketing is outbound. Okay? Everybody, you go and you do adverts, you put billboard and all of that. That's an example of outbound. You are the one going out to announce yourself. You talk about your products and all of that. That is outbound. Now, people, when you place those adverts, people will get to know you and all that. There's nothing bad or wrong, but there is a better method of advertisement now, or marketing now, which is called the inbound. Now, the inbound method is that you know the challenges people are having, and let's say you are like she who's in the creative industry. She talked about writing. What are the problems why must you write for somebody? Let's not go school. What is the importance of a creative writer in an organization, in a business, or in a personal life? If you don't have a good creative writer, what are the challenges? Okay? That if I have a business and I don't have a creative writer, what are the challenges I will face in my business due to the absence of a creative writer? That is her marketing. Those are the things she will be talking about. Problems that will come as a result of bad writing, errors in your writing, how you can lose your job if you don't know how to write, how you can lose customer if you make mistake, grammatical error, how. And that is what is dominating YouTube. How videos. Okay? So once you create a lot of such content, people that are just scrolling past, people search for their problems, they don't search for your products. When people go online, they search for their problems, not your products. There's, how do I solve writing problems in my organization? And your video pops up. Once your video pops up, they like how you were able to educate them very well. Education leads to trust. Okay? Education, when you educate a customer, they tend to trust you. They tend to believe that for this person to be able to educate me like this, he must know his onion. The next thing, they start patronizing you. So you just put out content there. You didn't tell them to come, but they find you because you were just talking about the problem they are facing and how those problems can be solved. So your marketing should attract people to you. That's the point. Your marketing strategy, develop a marketing strategy that will attract people to you. Understand the market you are serving. What is the real problem in that industry? Okay? Know the problem. The product most of the time is not the problem. Like I was talking to some guys, my friends actually, who wants to start a real estate company. And one was like, it's not just to buy land, clear the place, fence it, divide it, and start selling it. I said, is that how they do it? He said, yes, now, that's all we want to do. I said, if that is what you want to do, then you don't need me then. You already know what to do then. You just buy the land, clear it, divide it, and start selling. That is not why you need me. Okay? So the point is that a lot of people don't know their value in the industry. Okay? So a lot of people don't know what they are actually representing in the industry. They just feel that people don't exist to buy from you. People don't exist because they just want to buy something from you. Are we together? So, there must be a thing, a problem, a need you are meeting. That's why we define business as a means of creating and delivering something of value that people need or want. I won't buy from you because you are my brother. I'll buy from you because I have a problem that's your solution can solve. Are we together? So that's why when you go to a larger area, you see people saying, I don't know if they are still there because it's been longer I go to a larger, you hear them, buy from me now, buy from me now. On social media, you hear things like, buy from me, might not go back to village. Sorry, now village be your portion, no? If you can't communicate why I should buy from you, and the only reason is that you shouldn't go back to village. Lagos is too populated. I say, I want some people to go back to their village. So you don't need to be among those who will be in Lagos. Are we together? So create a blueprint of growth. What I mean by blueprint for growth is your stages of growing. Okay? Some people, like I was telling somebody of recent, your business is just started. You are already in Abuja. You already have an office in Abuja. You already have office. Create, not because they say there's opportunity in this place, just jump to that place. Grow. Have a plan on how you tend to grow. You want to expand, have a plan on how to expand. Okay? So these are the things you need to consider. These are the things you need to look into. Don't just expand. And we also talk about scaling. Scaling is that the difference between scaling and growth is that I am still spending the same 1 million naira, but I am getting more results. How do I keep spending 1 million naira to get 20 million? Before, I used to spend 1 million and I get 10 million. I don't want to increase my budget. I want to still spend this same 1 million naira and I get 20 million naira. So that is where automation comes in. Okay? So you need to automate some certain things in your business. You are spending the same amount, but your business is getting more result. You don't need to employ more people before your business grow. Okay? So, and in every business, there's what we call the growth lever. Things that makes your business to grow in your business. For example, if you talk about, I want my business to grow, what are you really saying? I need more customer. So when you increase the number of customers you have, your business is growing. Or you can say, I want to increase the amount each customer spend with me. Okay? If you have 10 customers, you both are into business, you have 10 customers. When this person's customers come, they buy things worth 1 million naira. Both of you used to get 1 million naira from all your customers. And after a while, you're able to put a strategy in place that makes the same number of customers, but they are now spending at least 5 million with you. But this person they are still buying 1 million naira product. This person will make more without increasing the same number of customers, but he has started getting more result. So for some people, what you need is not more customers. You just need to look for a way, how do I get my customers to spend more money with me? That's all you need. Okay? While there are some, you need to increase the number of times they buy things from you. We call it increasing the frequency of purchase. Okay? They used to come and buy something from you once every year. Now the question is, how do I get them to buy 2-3 times in a year? Okay? That is what we mean by increasing the frequency of purchase. These are examples of growth lever. Okay? So you need to look into these things carefully for you to be able to grow your business. But in all of this, like I said, no matter the business you are doing now, no matter the business you want to do, always look at how you can shape culture. Okay? Always, that is what I started with, and that is what I'm ending with. Always think of how I can shape culture, how I can affect culture, how I can affect the society. Businesses that scale, businesses that dominate are businesses that shape culture. Okay? Businesses that shape culture are the ones that affect things globally. If you want to relax, you want to play, you need to go to Netflix. Netflix is shaping how people relax. Okay? So you can see that they are booming everywhere. Google is shaping culture. It has moved the way we used to read, the way we used to search for things. Now, if we want to, there are people who even swear with Google. I swear to God, I see them for Google. Okay? There are people like that. So what they are doing is that they are shaping culture. Okay? Now, Ed, you talk about how people die. Hospital, these are things that can never go out of place. No matter the technology, no matter the invention, hospitals will remain. Though human being might not be the one doing the work, but the most important thing is that health must always be important. So how people live is determined by the hospital. So if you can affect the way people buy things, the way people live, the way people die, the way people play, the way people love, then alone can you dominate. Thank you and God bless you. Questions, please.
Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. I have a question, third boss. For some of us who are not starting up and we want to know the kind of business that is profitable, how do we start?
Okay. First, you say you are not just starting, so what kind of business are you currently doing?
I'm into IT. So for some of us that, I don't have a business.
Okay.
I want to start a business.
Okay.
And what we are doing is, not scaling through, and I want to at least start and be profitable in such a business. How do we start? Do we start by, meeting our contact or meeting those, our close circle, or registering a business? So how do we start?
Okay. The first thing I'm going to say is, number one, you are in the IT industry. What are the things that are in demand in the IT industry? Okay, like I say, example, the person who is doing, what do you call it? Business center, we also call himself that is in the IT industry. But for what they don't know is that industry, that part of the industry is already dead. Okay? So the things you are currently, give me an example of what you do in the IT industry.
Okay, I sell laptops.
Okay.
So I do multimedia.
Okay, now let's start with the laptops now. Now, currently, how do you sell your laptop to individuals or to corporate bodies? Your current market, which part of the market are you dealing with?
Both.
Both. Now, which of them is more profitable?
The corporate.
The corporate is more profitable. Now, how many of the corporate clients do you have, and how can you expand that corporate industry? Okay, thank you. How can you expand in that corporate space so that you can get more people? Thank you, sir. So that you can get more corporate clients who will buy in bulk. That is one. But one thing you would also need to know is that in as much as the corporate is more profitable, it is the individual that announces to the corporate. Okay? For example, if I have been buying, because in the corporate, it is human being that will still use the laptop in the corporate. And they will only recommend people that they have dealt with before. Okay? So if you have been selling to the people that are buying, individual that is buying from you, what data do you have of them? That's the first question I'm going to ask you now. Do you have data of your existing individual customers? Some of us get people to fill form. I don't know why most organizations tell people to fill form. You enter the office, say, you need one slim girl will just be smiling there. I'm telling you, hey, you need to fill our form. You fill the form, you leave that place, the next 10 years, they won't call you, they won't send you message, they won't do anything. But they make it mandatory that you should fill form. So, collect data. That is the first thing. Now, in course of those data you collect, be specific of data that you want to collect. Be very deliberate of the data you collect. Like among those people you have seen, maybe some of them work in certain organizations, right? Now, if some of them work in certain organizations, there are different approaches you can use. You cannot create a newsletter, okay? Create a newsletter where you educate them of importance of servicing why organizations should always service their systems. Why organizations should always, maybe you are selling a fairly used laptop, for example. Why fairly used laptops are also good investment on saving money. Because in business, let me tell you the truth. If you want to come collect contract from me, Your contract should be positioned in a way that you are either helping me make more money or save money. Okay? And even you, those of you that are working here, your work you are doing in that organization, when they want to sack people, when they call me Mr. Chris, want to lay off some people because of some certain challenges, the first thing I'm looking for, who are those? They are neither helping us make money nor save money. Those are the first set of people to leave. Then we'll now look for those who can multitask. Okay, if you can multitask, you can stay. But if you can't multitask and you are not making money, not saving money, or your is your case, go back to your house. So these are the things, so you can send in newsletters. Those, even when the receipts you fill, those receipts you give to them, you have your own copy. They write their name, they write their email, they write their phone number. If that is not how it is currently, redesign it to collect data. Okay? So you start sending in newsletters. Okay? So you could write to do campaign to service system for free. The best, I used to do that same job before. In this Bado Racer, I don't think there's any school that has been there for many years that doesn't know me, because that was one of the first business I used to do. That was in the job to Badore area. They call me Engineer Chris, up to date. Most people who know me there then call me Engineer Chris, up to date, because I used to service computers. Now, what I do is, I will schedule to service computers for the schools for free. Okay? Check your computers for free. Now, that checking of computer, I go see what is spoil inside. Okay? And I go need to buy and replace. Are you getting me? Now, from that buying and replace, I will make recommendations. Why this one cannot be used again, why they need a better one. And who else will they trust to do the supply if not me, who made the recommendation? Okay? So these are the things you need to look at. So first of all, consolidate on what you're already doing before thinking of diversification. Okay? Expand into new territories of the same business, servicing computers for people. Some services, I learned that from my dad, my late dad. I remember I visited him once. They had my stepmom had a petty shop. Sorry. My stepmom had a petty shop. And after some while, I was seeing them sell some kind of things which they don't sell before. And when I asked her, he said, this one brings people. And when they come, they see the other things we sell. Some is not to make money. Some of the services is not to make money. It's what brings people. I do training. As people say, Mr. Chris, there's what we call front end. Let me just explain it this way. There's a front end product. There's a back end product. The main money is in the back end. But what people see is the front end. I do trainings. I do seminars. People come to, Mr. Chris is doing seminar. They will now come out, me too, I want to do seminar. They'll start doing seminar. What they don't know is that sometimes I don't make any money from the seminar. But from that seminar, I will get like 10 persons who's going to patronize me in software development, in website design, in digital advertisement, and so on. But from the seminar, I didn't make money. I just make sure I break even. I don't run at loss. I didn't make money. That is what I focus on. So structure your business in a way that you can both break even, have a front-end product and a back-end product. Supplying computer to them could be your primary service, but maintenance could be your front-end product. That's what I will advise you to do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I want to ask, what is the best way to launch a new product that nobody has seen before? Something that has never been done before. What is the best way to launch it?
A new product?
Yes.
The first thing is, do you know your target customer?
Yes.
Do you know your target customer?
Yes.
Now, do you know how you can reach that your target customer?
That's the question I'm asking.
Okay, you don't know how to reach them. Now, the thing is, those your target customer, are they already using a complementary product?
No, really.
Like, for example, there are some people, they are not your competitors. Because one thing I've noticed, a lot of businesses, they see everybody as competitors. There are people who are not your competitors. Okay? So, but you can complement each other. Okay? Now, for example, let's assume you don't do networking, but you supply computers. The person who wants to do networking needs computers to network. You can collaborate with that person who has a lot of companies that is doing networking projects for. So that, and give him, strike a partnership with him. Every time he has need for computers, he comes to you. You share percentage, right? So that could be an example. Now, the product you are now talking about, is it digital or physical product?
Digital.
It's digital product.
Yes.
Now, the first things I would say, create awareness.
Okay.
Now, and there are two types of awareness. Awareness about a need, awareness about a solution. Or you can say awareness about a problem, or awareness about a solution. Now, most people who are starting new products, they like to create awareness about the product without creating awareness about the need. If you are selling, let's say, a new drugs, I don't know whether there's, okay, for example, during the time there was COVID, when nobody knows about COVID. Imagine you come and say you are selling COVID drug. You are now advertising the drugs. I don't even know what is called COVID, not to talk of about the drugs, the first place. So I won't buy. No matter whether it's affordable, I won't buy. Whether it's expensive, I won't buy. Why? Because I don't know the need or the problem it will solve for me. So when you are creating your marketing campaign, there should be a combination of both problem, the need, and the solution. So that is how you should take it. So these days, building communities is one of the easiest way to expand communities. For example, now, see Aproko Doctor today.
Yes.
Today he's now into, I don't know whether I would call him gym instructor or what exactly he's doing today. So he's now able to expand into different niches. Why? Because he has built a community. Don't have customers, create communities. Okay? Don't just have customers. Your business should not be focused on acquiring customers alone. Yes, at the beginning, you need customers. But as you begin to gather them, expand into creating communities with those customers. So every time you launch a new product, the first set of people you introduce that product to is that community. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the approach. So create awareness, both the need and about the problem. Position, brand it and position it very well. Okay? Talk more about the problem that thing is solving. Create case scenario. Are there thought leaders in that industry you can talk to, who you can feature in your webinar and stuff like that? Create solution-based videos. Run ad with them. Not talking about the product, just solution or problem-based videos where you're talking about the problem that people are facing, and you start running ad with it. You are now creating awareness about that problem. Then from that awareness, people will now even be the one asking you, how do I solve this problem? I have this problem. And I've been facing this type of thing. I've been facing this type of thing. What is now the solution? You now position your solution. It's as simple as that. Any other person, please?
So during the course of your teaching, you made mention of if you should go into agriculture, you're still going to make through the tech line. So I want to ask, is it wise to just niche down into a particular sector? Let's say I'm into furniture, I just want to niche down to only office furnitures instead of cutting through all furnitures.
Okay, the thing is, it all depends on how large the market is. That's the thing. Your niching is dependent on how large your market is. If you have not even been able to serve half of the market, the first thing I always tell people, what is the size of this market I am going into or that I'm in? Sometimes if you don't know the size of the market, you'll be rejoicing whereas you are even not succeeding. Okay? Some people are in a market of $10 billion. But what they are making is not even up to 0.1% of the market. And they are rejoicing that they are successful. Why? They are only comparing themselves with the nearest person. Okay? Whereas they don't know that if they go globally or nationally, they can actually make far more than that. Okay? So the first thing first is, how large, if you niche down, what will be the size if you niche that? Okay? And if you notice that, okay, for example, using this woman, former chairperson of First Bank, Ibuko Awoshika, she is focused on office furniture. Okay, that's our business. It's focused on office furniture. Before they now expanded into security doors in banks and all of that. Corporate furnishing. Because that door, as far as that security, as far as I'm concerned, is part of furniture. Okay? So that's the thing. So within that, a lot of people don't dig deep to see the size and the onion that lies in there. They're just treating it from the surface. And they feel like, even the Bible says, when Jesus Christ was talking to Peter, what did he tell him to do? He should launch into the deep. Launch into the deep of that your sector. You will find enough fish to catch. Instead of throwing it every corner, launch into the deep. All right?
Thank you very much, sir. My question is, what about in a situation whereby you're managing a business for someone and you saw some errors, but you're trying to tell the person, okay, let me start from here, no customer like that, but you told this person, the owner of the business, why not allow us to do some marketing on social media based on the social handle and ads? But this same person agreed, but to bring in the funds is hard. But it's not that this person doesn't have. What can we do in that aspect?
Number one, prepare to leave. That is number one solution to your problem. Prepare to leave. Because there are some businesses you cannot force him to do what he doesn't want to do in his business. Okay? The first place I worked in this Lagos, his office is in Badore. He still is occupying that 2-room up till today. Imagine if I was still working for him. Now, when I came to that place, before then I was living in Port Harcourt. The job I actually came for was to work in an oil and gas company as a maritime person, but the job didn't work out. So while waiting, I said, I'm a software person, let me look for a job. So that's how I found myself in his company. And before then, I have worked in a company that was a service provider to Chevron, Schlumberger, and some further oil company. We're a service provider, a tech service providing company. So I told him, when I came to Lagos, I told him that I've worked in so kind of place, and I'm in good relationship with some of the managers in those companies in Port Harcourt, where those branches I used to work with. I can get recommendation from them, and we can also service these companies in Lagos. There are branches in Lagos. Guess what? It's a good idea. It's a good idea. He now asked me, but who is now going to be going to those places? I said, I can do it now. The point is not to go too far. He doesn't want the business to grow beyond his control. So if the business will grow out of his control, he doesn't want it. And today he's still inside his 2-room. Anytime I pass by there once in a while, I will say, let me say hello to him. I used to call him Oga. Today he's one calling me Oga. Okay? So if it's his business, if he doesn't want to grow, and your dreams, okay, let me also say this, for those of you who have businesses or who might want to have businesses. If you have a staff that is talented, that was one of the slides, but I couldn't go through that one. A staff that is talented and have skills and have potentials. Please, one of the reasons why there are no more staff commitments in organizations is because most companies kill the potentials of their staff members. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you are a digital marketer, like you asked the question. The reason why you learn digital, and let's say in that digital market, you are now working in a real estate company. Now, your hope and ambition is not to keep working in a real estate company. Your hope and ambition of choosing to go into real estate, into digital marketing, maybe is to own your own digital agency one day. That is your dream and aspiration. Please don't change it for your boss. Now, for the bosses here, or who to be bosses tomorrow, let me ask you this question. Let me even direct it to Mr. Ogbona. Your company today, when you think about your company 10 years from now, Is it only you see, or do you see the people working with you there currently? You see them. Where do you see them? Because your dream as a business owner, maybe one day you want to be able to travel overseas, go on vacation, but you only see your staff being staff. Can I work in your organization and become a CEO? Can I work in your organization and be an entrepreneur, but I'm still working for you? Can I work in your organization and my dream is to live in Banana Island? After all, the Banana Island, not be everybody where they there get their own company. Some are working for people. So the question is, can I be working for you 10 years from now and I'll be living in Banana Island? If his dream is to live in Banana Island and your company dream does not cover that, he will leave you. Are we together? And if his dream is to become an entrepreneur and your company does not permit him, he will leave one day. So how do you do it? Every department of your business should be branded as a company. Every department of your business should be branded as a company. How do you do that? He's working in marketing and sales. He's very good with digital marketing. Ask him at some point, this is your digital marketing. What do you really want to do after now? If he's the type that says he has dream of owning his own digital marketing agency, set up a digital marketing agency. Make him a shareholder in that company while he's still working for you. That company, that digital marketing agency, will be servicing your current company and servicing other companies. But he is now your partner in the digital marketing agency. He has shares. You have shares. This is what I've done with a lot of businesses, like the recent one. The guy has been complaining of his staff leaving and all of that. I told him, the current GM of the company, that guy, I've never seen a guy that is as dedicated as that guy. I told him, know what you need to do. And the guy studied construction and all of that, but he's working in a real estate company. Told him, register a construction company. Give him some large percentage share of the company, set up everything, let him be managing it, and be servicing your own company because you guys do construction work in the real estate company. Let him be servicing that and be servicing other people as well. Because the truth is, until your department in your business is good enough for your competitor to patronize you, you are not good enough. What do I mean by that? Who use iPhone here? iPhone users, raise up your hand. Who use Samsung? Who uses Samsung? Now, let me ask a question. Who manufactures the screen of iPhone? Samsung. So you groom your department to be good to the point that even your competitors will pay you to render a service for them. Thank you. That's all I have for you.
Sir, okay. My question is, I have a skill. A skill.
Okay.
Then I'm very good at the skill. So people that know that I do it, they tell other people and they come and meet me, I'll do for them. Like I'm offering service. So now I want to go far in it. Like I want to turn it into a business of my own. What should I focus more?
Okay. You have a skill, and people know that you are doing it. Now, the first thing is, how many of these jobs do you get of that skill? Do you get jobs that you no longer have enough time to do it? Yeah, even digital skill, there's a way you get jobs to the point that you can't deliver all of them. Okay? If you are still getting jobs only you can manage, don't bother for business for now. Okay? Structure yourself as a business, but don't bring in somebody for now. Keep getting jobs and keep marketing until the point whereby you know, let's say for example, what kind of digital skill? Let me even ask.
One social media specialist.
Okay, you are a social media specialist.
Yeah, one.
Now,
Then
currently, how many social media accounts are under you that you are managing?
currently,
Yes, currently.
just 3, but I've handled like 4 before.
Okay, just 3. That is small. Imagine you getting 20. You won't be able to manage them.
Yeah.
Okay? If you get 20, you can't manage it. You know why? Because managing one social media account is a full department. Okay? Because for you to manage one social media account, you need graphics. Not Canva kind of graphic, quality graphics. What that means is you need to know how to use CorelDRAW, Photoshop, and so on. Graphic skill, right? Now, in that place, you need to know how to write. So you don't go and spell nonsense in people's page. So you need writing skills. Okay? Now, in that place, you need to know how to, you need to be a media buyer, which means you know how to run ad. Okay? So, and even running ad have different departments. Social media ad, YouTube ad, Google ad, all of those. Okay? Now, all of these, if you get, you might be able to do it when it's just 1 or 2 or 3. But when they start becoming very large, you will not be able to keep up. Okay? Keep grooming yourself. Structure yourself as a company, but don't take in people for now until you are. But start pushing to get more. When you are getting more than you can handle, then you can start bringing extra hands in. Okay? So that is how to go. All right?
Thank you.
All right. All right. At this point, I think I've come to the end of today's section. So thank you and God bless you. I pray you go and dominate your industries in Jesus' name.